Hey there, I am D. Today is Autism Awareness Day, and for the occasion I decided to review something autism related. Dark Floors. But before I get to that, I should probably tell you about Lordi first. Lordi is a Finnish metal band that is particularly notorious for performing on stage dressed up as monsters. While this may not be new to American audiences, they were to most of Europe. So to nobody's surprise, when they participated in the Eurosong Song Contest, they had won, and thus their popularity grew. Needless to say that a band like this draws the attention of many a filmmaker. After all, wouldn't you like to see these monsters attack and or devour people? So naturally, one filmmaker approached this band and asked them if they had any ideas for movies. They did. And so, this movie was made. Now, were they trying to make a genuinely good movie? Or were they just trying to capitalize on the success of Lordi? Only one way to find out. So we begin with the opening credits, which consists of crayon drawings? Huh. I'm not sure what kind of tone crayons are supposed to set, but okay. After we finally see the title of the movie, we're introduced to our autistic person of the evening. Meet Sarah and her single father.
She says it hurts.
No, it just makes a lot of noise.
So why don't you just give her earplugs? You clearly know this is unpleasant for her, so... Then again, what do I know about MRI scans? Lucky for her, the machine malfunctions, so they can't go through with... whatever it is they were doing. What were they scanning her for, you ask? Well...
We have to go through all the causes for her symptoms just to find out what's actually happening.
I just want her to feel better.
I don't think there's anybody in the world could do more for them we've done already.
Yeah, well, have you talked to her? Have you listened to what she has to say, or...
They don't specify why, so I'll just have to assume they're talking about her autism. Meaning that they're treating it like something that shouldn't exist. Bad start already. On the bright side, we see this. Okay, he didn't actually say that, but he might as well have. Anyway, realizing that the doctors can't help her, he takes her out of the hospital.
What are you doing? Let us keep her here for tonight.
I know what's best for my daughter.
Yeah, so does this woman.
This means war! This means war!
So they walk into an elevator. Now we know where Shyamalan got his inspiration from. So the elevator gets stuck and we get a brief introduction to the other characters. Let's see, besides those three, there's a black security guard, one older person and one obnoxious guy. Huh. Never thought there'd be some truth to any of my jokes.
Call for help!
This is Rick Security. We're stuck in elevator 6. We need help now. It's an emergency.
This is Rick Security. We're stuck in elevator 6. We need help now. It's an emergency.
Weird. This is gonna be interesting. Anywho, they're not stuck for long as the power comes back and they leave the elevator.
Where is everyone? There should be patients here. And staff.
Sure, don't show us there should be people here. Have a character tell us there should be people. With the elevator being unreliable, the 6 of them look for another way out.
Can't you see? I don't understand. Can't we just get the hell out of here?
There's no way out of here.
You're not Crazy Ralph, so don't bother.
Sarah should take her medicine soon.
What medicine?
Well, I was trying to tell you before, we're testing her on a new drug for epilepsy.
I realize a neurologist is not necessarily a psychiatrist, but you'd think he'd know better than to mistake autism for epilepsy. What kind of a hospital is this? Eventually, they do find another patient.
Ma'am?
Wonder which one of these did that.
Hello? Can anyone hear me?
You've already established that doesn't work. Get on with it!
What the hell's going on here?
Personally, I'd be more concerned about why the clocks have stopped moving. But hey, that's just me. By the way, why is Sarah in a wheelchair? Her legs aren't broken, she isn't paralyzed, so she can walk perfectly fine. So they make it to the emergency stairs, where they're being shot, and the obnoxious guy drops his teddy bears. He doesn't particularly strike me as a children's entertainer, so why would he be carrying around those bears?
Why don't we make a campfire and sing songs while we're at it?
Hey, calm down.
What, somebody's running around tearing people's eyes out? You want me to calm down?
Well, that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, you have faced demons before. Oh, right. Never mind, forget what I just said. With few options, they check the surveillance screens.
Let's take these. We might need them.
You already forgot those don't work? I know the short-term memory is the first thing to go, but don't you at least have to be twice that age before that happens? Meanwhile, Sarah leaves the group. Why is she the only person who's gone through all this? They find her and leave, only to meet with... Now we know what killed Harold Ramis. By activating a machine, it buzzes, which somehow cancels out the ghost. And the sound doesn't bother Sarah because... Obnoxious guy tries to run, but is attacked by another band member. The rest of the movie basically follows a formula. The characters talk, a band member shows up. The characters talk, a band member shows up. It's like the whole movie is just filler until a member of Lordi appears. Now don't get me wrong, it's fun to see them as actual monsters rather than a band on stage. But it seems like that's all they wanted. Never mind the story, all the audience wants is to see monsters in action. Which might be effective to a die-hard Lordi fan, but to movie buffs, not so much. But, to be fair, don't you at least want to know what these monsters are and why they're here?
I promise you will sleep.
Or for that matter, why Sarah remains so calm through all this. Being autistic doesn't mean she doesn't have emotions.
Have you seen that? Have you?
Kids knowing more than the adults. Haven't heard that before. Then again, the reason why they know more is rarely, if ever, explained. Here, at least, they're implying that she knows so much because of her autism. It's not an explanation I particularly like, but at least it's a explanation. They eventually find themselves on a lower floor where they find a tape recorder.
The only sensible solution is to give up the girl. Give up the girl. Give up the girl.
Sacrificing the child. That's not overused at all. Is there anything original in this movie? With no easy way out, they try to break through a wall until...
He wasn't the kind of man who would...
Oh yeah, it's those bears that the other guy dropped before. So they shot themselves. Good to know. Moving on. After a lot of banter, where they meet with more band members, find more bodies, use those radios, even though they're not supposed to work, eventually only Sarah and her father are left to face... Mr. Lordi! Great! The man himself! What's he gonna do? I realize he grew wings on stage before. However, here it worked, because despite being obviously fake, those wings were still solid objects. Here, the wings are computer generated, making them look even more fake than before. In any case, they try to escape him. The father leaves Sarah behind, some parent he turned out to be, and tries to run over Mr. Lordi, but is stopped by... Sarah? she's a ghost now? I don't know what's worse, the fact that she died off-screen or the fact that she had to die at all. Anyway, she confronts Mr. Lordi and... It was all a dream? It was all a dream? What the... Actually, that explains a lot. The bad doctors, the inconsistent use of radios, the cliches, and the fact that she seemed to know more than anyone else. It actually makes perfect sense now. Even more so when you consider this. From the very beginning, it was clear that she was in a situation she didn't like, so of course she'd fantasize about how to get out of this. Not to mention how people keep talking about her as if she should not exist. It's like this movie wasn't supposed to reflect reality, rather it was supposed to represent how an autistic child feels about reality. Now I can imagine some people will now say that, but don't you think this movie is making autists seem like murderous maniacs? Number 8.
I could kill you for that, darling. Junior, you do that once more and I'm gonna kill you. Get in there, Rocky, and kill him. I say it every day, that doesn't mean we're really gonna kill him.
Exactly. This movie was probably a means for the director to get a quick buck, but the idea itself came from Lordi. So it seems to me that Lordi understands the condition more than most other filmmakers. Yes, I'm talking to you! So, a commercial movie? Or one of the better autism movies? You decide. This was D. I'm signing off.